Welcome back to Cars of Sweden Live, and we are at the depot today and see what we've got going on. Now, we've got a lot of cars here that have gone through the auction, or cars that are on the auction right now. For example, if we look over here, that's the Benz that we had, the 600 SL we had last week. All right, I'm not going to show you that one because that's going to be on a future show. But also, over here, we have a nice little thing. It's all opened up at the moment, but it's another Saab Sonnet. Now, this is a version 2 of the Saab Sonnet. I mean, it's very clever at the back of this car. If you can see the way it opens up here, that's the only way you can get into the back of this car is by this this little lid. Very interesting car. I mean, I like this car a lot. It's got loads and loads of character. The guys are currently working on the car just to make sure that everything's in tip-top condition, because this thing is actually at auction as we speak. And if I look over there to my right, there's Sean. And over there's Jordan. So Jordan, can you come over here a minute? The engine looks in first-class condition.
It's a very nice car, and it's totally restored and very well done as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful car.
And a bit unusual. It's 1966.
Right.
Saab Sonnet 2.
Because we had the number 3 on one of our earlier shows, which was quite interesting. I think this one's got a lot more character, if I'm going to be honest with you.
And this one is a bit kind of cool, I think. Yeah. Because the other one has this more practical.
Yeah.
But this one is, but it's quite cool too.
Yeah, that is really weird, isn't it?
So we have just started to disconnect the batteries and things like that. But
so the battery you'll find in there and everything as well.
So it's an odd car, but it's
really nice. I like the look. I like the lines on this car.
Yeah.
Actually, better than the 3. Yeah. This one's got so much more character.
Yeah. And also had this flip front. This better access to the engine. Yeah. The other one has just a little.
That's right,
mailbox, the other one. So this one you can
and it all opens up, you can see the suspension and everything. Everything's in access here. Everything sort of sits in a tub.
And this is a 2-stroke, 3-cylinder engine in this one. So that's a bit older. And
it's a lovely car. Yeah. But having said that, this is not the reason why I'm here today. The reason why I'm here today is that. Out there. Right, so we're outside here with Sean. What have we got here today then, Sean?
Super rare. Super rare. It's a Talbot Rancho.
Right.
So it's French. It's from that period with Talbot or Talbot and then Simker. They all sort of merged together.
Right.
I think Talbot then was bought over by Chrysler. So it became a Chrysler.
Yeah.
So I mean, Talbot did some cool cars. He did the Sunbeam Lotus.
That's
car.
right, yeah, of course.
Like, super rare car.
Yeah, I remember back in the day that was the hot hatch of the day, wasn't it?
That was the supercar for those dams. And then they obviously the Talbot designers had some freedom with the pen here, because they constructed this, which is like, I don't know what you could really say. Obviously, it's like
it kind of looks like a Range Rover type thing, doesn't it? But
this was more like the first sort of SUV stroke people carrier stroke everything. So they had like a searchlight that you really needed in the 80s.
Yeah, of course.
This is a 1980s car with a 1.4 engine.
All right.
So I mean, this is while you're in the Sahara Desert, perhaps, or camping. And then you've got this strange rear end with like a big sliding window here. Yeah. And you can see the design. It's sort of like
it's like it's been chopped in half, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different. And then you've got this like roof rack thing.
Right.
And you've got back seats there, which obviously seats fall forward. And a lot of it's plastic.
Yeah. I was just checking that.
Plastic panels.
Yeah.
Or fiberglass.
Yeah.
And then you've got like this Range Rover style here. So one click up.
Right. Okay, opens the hatch. But then it opens up into the roof as well, yeah?
Yeah. And then you've got this one here. Just flip over. Here.
All right, and that folds down.
And that folds down.
Loads of storage in there as well.
Yep.
Nice.
So you got like a split boot.
Yeah. That's nice, convenient as well.
If you pull these here, then it lets you flip the front seats forward. It's not automatic, but it's...
Right. All right, because some of them are automatic, aren't they?
Yeah, quite handy. You know?
Right, is that to get your Wellingtons on and off?
Well,
Yeah?
it's like your Range Rover style, isn't it? It's your cheap man's Range Rover. I mean, it's pretty practical.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I mean, if you put all the seats down, you've got a really big space in the back.
Do you know, I've actually seen people who've got like beds in here. They fold that flat, and then they have a shelf here that goes to here, and they've got a couple of mattresses in there as well. So it's a sort of camping excursion type thing as well, isn't it?
And the unique thing with this is, so the owner says, I haven't really checked it myself. He says there's about 3 of them in traffic in Sweden.
3?
3 of them, yeah.
Right. See, some of these come 4-wheel drive. Is this one's a 2-wheel drive, though, yeah?
2-wheel drive, yeah.
Right. And interior-wise, I mean, that looks very time period, doesn't it? I mean, this is what year model is this?
1980.
Yeah, because that kind of patchwork and that sort of tartany style was coming out in the 80s, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, Porsche had this style as well.
That's right, yeah. But really,
well, I mean, it's definitely different. I remember when these came out in England in the 80s, they were really weird then.
yeah.
I mean, now they're even more weird.
I mean, it's got something to do with Simca, though, hasn't it, this car?
Well, it was part of Simca.
Yeah.
There's all the French guys were together on this. But I mean, it's just weird, a weird car.
Because they had interesting cars out back then as well, didn't they? The Simcas, right?
This car was designed for, I think it was marketed as like people who wanted to go on adventures.
Right.
A venture car.
Yeah.
So the backstory with this is the guy used to have, I think it was either paragliding or hang gliding.
Right.
So he drove this to like France and did hang gliding with his friends. And at the front here, he's got a little badge. Which, don't ask me to say that in Latin, volere necessity, etc., which is something translated, enjoy the air or fly.
Oh, right, okay. So it's a really interesting thing as well, look.
I mean, they really put an effort in with this to make it, you know, off-road, street, safari.
I mean, it's kind of ahead of its time in a little way. I mean, because it's not sitting especially high, but it looks like it's like an off-roader, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a very, it's just a bizarre car.
But so what's the story behind it? Where is this car going? Or
this car's on the auction as we speak.
Right.
And reserve price, or the bids up on, I think the bid's up on 50, 55, something like that. Right. So it's over the reserve price.
Right, so this car is, as we speak, is up for sale.
Yep.
And if you're catching the show on a Wednesday when it goes out, the auction for this car finishes on Thursday?
Thursday, yep.
Right.
So I mean, if it's an ideal car for somebody who's got likes obscure stuff, or is a guy who's got a museum or car collection.
Right.
And if you have this, and they do 3 of them in Sweden.
So I mean, the value of this thing can only go upwards as well, can't it?
Yeah. I mean, we're not talking a £100,000 car, but you know.
Yeah.
And the guy who owns it, he drove it like what, 140 kilometres here.
Okay, right.
So, I mean,
it's reliable and it's going and it's.
And there's quite a lot of extra parts which are hard to find, like some panels on the side and some glass and some bits and bobs.
Is there a roof rack in that as well? Yeah, maybe.
No, I don't think it's a roof rack, but it's like I think it's 2 doors as well. So you know, really hard to find the parts. So.
Right. But yeah, but there's 3 of these in Sweden. Do you want to be the owner of one of them?
I mean, you'd be talking about rarities. I mean.
Yeah. Very rare. Yeah. All right, then, Sean. Thanks a lot for that, then, mate. The only thing I'm going to do now is get it down the road, see how it drives. Yeah. Right. So we are in the Talbot Rancho. Right. Well, like I said, this car is currently available on auction, so if you are on the channel early enough, because it goes out on Wednesday and actually the auction for this car ends on Thursday, so hopefully you're here in time if you're interested. But we're going to just continue and get this thing down the road and see how it drives. Now, this car's been used a lot, so over the last owner's ownership, he has been driving this car for a load of miles. So it's nothing that's been sitting around for any amount of time. Right, first impressions, yeah, no power steering in here, but gearbox feels nice, steering feels accurate. It's a nice little thing. Loads of room in here. That's one thing you feel when you get into this car, is there's loads of space everywhere. You've got this really roomy kind of feeling. You feel like when you look at the car, you should be sitting a lot higher. You're sitting quite, you know, low here. Well, not low, but you know, just like an average car, I guess. But the space you feel is everywhere. A lot of space. All right, let's indicate. Let's go around there. All right, let's try and throw it into second gear without breaking anything. But yeah, it's a nice little motor. Everything seems to be working as it should. Just got to try and get used to driving a car around with no power steering, and then you're all right. But yeah, like I said, it's a really rare car. Only 3 of them registered in Sweden at the moment, so this is a real chance to grab yourself something that is really, really ideal and really rare, and possibly something that will go up in price as well in the future. You never know. Really wants to get going in this car, so it's got a good gearbox and quite comfortable as well. So this will be my short review on driving around in Matra Rancho, or the Talbot. It's a nice little motor. It's from 1980, so yeah, but it's aged pretty well. Unique little bits and pieces on this car as well that I quite like. Like if you look at the placement of the rear windscreen wiper, you know, it's up high rather than down low. Quite, you know, interesting fitment there. But all in all, yeah, like I said, it's available. Beulah Web Auction is the place. Auction ends tomorrow if you're watching Wednesday when this came out. So go and have a look. There's loads more detail on the car there. So if you're interested, that's the place to get it. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this little special show with something a bit unusual. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and notifications, people, notifications, because when these cars go out, you know, sometimes we only have like a short window of when you can actually see the video, and if you're interested, get onto the auction and put a bid in. So yeah, notifications, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you all again next week for some more Cars of Sweden live.